And we're back with another edition of Reboot It Presents Movie Mashup. Ron Swallow, Ed Greer. I'm going to get the hang of that eventually. I'm Billy Business. If you have not seen the show yet, here's how it works. We have a list of movie franchises. We have a list of genres. We randomly select one from each list, and we have 30 minutes to make a movie. Guys, I think we're getting kind of good at this, though. If maybe I'm setting us up for failure here, but I think we're getting kind of good at it.
You just jinxed us. Yeah, this is gonna suck. Get ready, guys.
Look, but I think we embrace the suck, and that's how that's how we'll never lose. We're like a LeVar Ball, never lost. We never acknowledge that any of them suck. And frankly, it's about making something truly great or truly sucky. We ride the wave.
Yeah, and it's about having fun.
You're gonna know within a few minutes of like, we don't got this. Let's just tank it on purpose.
Hey, I was. That's one. The one
if
lesson
it's funny,
I've always,
I don't care.
But the one I've learned from even doing comedy, when you're bombing, hey man, I'm taking everybody with me.
What's my most offensive joke? Let's do that.
All right, well, save that most offensive joke. We might need it this episode. Let's find out. Today's franchise that we will be trying to come up with a story for is, this one's always a tough one. Terminator. We will be talking about James Cameron's Terminator and the genre of movie that this is going to be. This is kind of neat. A David Lynch surrealist thriller, David Lynch Terminator thriller, which means this will make no sense. There's probably going to be just little touches that don't make any sense at all. Kind of like this show in general. We have 30 minutes on the clock starting right now. This is interesting. I always like these ones where, this happened with the Michael Bay one, where it's like just telling us who's doing this movie informs a lot about the choices that we need to make in order for this to kind of fit that aesthetic. So knowing that it's David Lynch, I will say I absolutely loathe David Lynch movies. I think
so does Ron.
A lot.
Yeah, I think Mulholland Drive is maybe. We were just talking about unwatchable movies before we started this. That's in my list of I find it purely unwatchable.
Blue Velvet.
Unwatchable.
Horrible. I'm so mad. There was a part in that movie where he goes, "It's dark now," and I was like, I walked out. I was like, "Go fuck yourself. That's so stupid. Why did you put that line in there? What's the point? What are you doing?"
Lost Highway was interesting to me for about 15 minutes, and then I was like, nope, never mind. I hate this. So Ed, where do you where Rodden and I stand?
But see, that's the thing. I think I am culturally ill-equipped to handle David Lynch at even his best with all the stuff. I just feel like it's like my man Rich Slayton, he didn't coin it, but he's the white person I've known that uses it. And there's this term called white nonsense, where it's like so many layers of you have to accept this, and you have to accept that, you have to accept this, and you have to accept that to make it work at all. And it's called white nonsense, and I think that's what a lot of Lynch is. So, dude, straight up, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. But I do know that the Terminator story focuses the Lynchian part of it, though. The Terminator story can focus the flights of fancy that typically happen in a Lynch movie. So, what we need to do is avail ourselves of that unsettling creepiness that he can engender, and try to do something along, with the Terminator thing of like
a
playing
Twin Peaks version.
Well, playing with whether or not what is the Terminator in a David Lynch movie? Because it might not be. It's somebody trying to kill somebody. Certainly, is it a robot endoskeleton in this world, or is it a driven person, or is it a golem, or is it a freaking mountain sprite? What you know what I'm saying? Does it come? Does it come from the past? Is it
magic? A homeless person behind a dumpster like Mulholland Drive? Which, by the way, that to me, again, what was the point of that? I don't know. I'm sure people are like, you just didn't get it. Yep, you're right. I didn't get it. I guess I'm too dumb for David Lynch.
Yeah. Oh, we just got to harness that though. The it's weird and it's off-putting, but then let's put something driven and sort of sci-fi
let's do
/
this.
whatever into
Absolutely.
Okay,
And we can we'll just pick random lines at some point that we'll put in there to make it feel weird, like it might make sense, but it probably doesn't. And then we've got it. So let's do this. We can do this.
I kind of feel like, just to make it interesting, like I'm very tired of Terminators in our time, robots in disguise. Like, one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I've only ever seen it there. Did you guys ever go to Universal Studios and do the Terminator 2 3D thing?
Oh yeah, love that ride.
So for those who aren't familiar, it was basically like it was a stage show of Terminator 2 that turns into like a 3D movie that continued the story after Terminator 2. But what made it cool, which they never showed anywhere else except this theme park attraction, was like what Skynet's headquarters looks like in like the desolate dystopian future. It's just like this big like energy pyramid. That is awesome. And I don't know, just the visual of that was really cool. It's like, can we at least like think about just starting there? At least it looks neat, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I mean it's Lynchian too. It's like we open on some weird like a weird pyramid of energy and then something coming out of it or whatever. And with blue jeans on because it's going back in time. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I get that. I actually and plus in our universe you can wear your clothes in the past. That was dumb. Everybody having to come naked. And in this one you can wear blue jeans.
Dumb.
In this one you can wear blue jeans. Dumb. Forget it.
I want a robot that's wearing blue jeans. I want it to be a robot that has blue jeans. No one talks about why this robot is wearing blue jeans and maybe even like a flannel. And then he just goes, time is just time. If you understand time, you'd know that time is a time. And then he appears in our time.
Okay, so we always have like a Terminator in our time. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I can't tell, or the characters, like I can't tell if it's a real person or a robot. What if we do the opposite? And it's like a guy walking around in the beginning of Terminator 2 with like all the skulls and stuff all over the playground. It's like, I don't know if this is a Terminator or just a guy that survived. And I think you do like a Lost Highway where like sometimes it's both. Like maybe that's kind of the whole crux of the thing. Like, are we Terminators as humans, or that was kind of the theme of Terminator 2, which is like humans are the real Terminators because we can't stop killing each other. So it's like, what if this guy like he has human stuff about him, but he also has like Terminator stuff about him, and it's just kind of like he's walking around like the freaking Book of Eli, and you have no idea if this guy is a Terminator or not. Maybe he doesn't even know if he's a Terminator or not. I know that was kind of Terminator Salvation, but not shitty.
Yeah. But see, it can be shitty. He's just wandering through. He's wandering through the time. There doesn't seem to be a purpose to his wandering either. Like he just goes to a place and he looks around, and then like maybe there's an actual Terminator there, and they start talking to him, and he talks back, and seems like maybe they get along. And then he leaves, and he goes into a bathroom. And he's in the bathroom for a while. You don't know if he's pooping or not pooping because you don't know if he's a robot or not. And you don't even know if robots poop, right? So then he's in the bathroom, and then he leaves the bathroom, and he goes to a cornfield. And out in the cornfield, you think maybe he's getting corn. So he starts picking up corn, That's it.
Jeez Louise.
That was so David Lynch that it was like if David Lynch and Terrence Malick had a baby, it would be this story.
Oh my god. He ended up out with the cord. Okay, look.
Just weird, tedious shit, the movie.
Yeah. We already wrote the movie. That's it.
I refuse to on purpose make something tedious. So that being the case, I do definitely agree though that I agree with what I thought when you were talking, Ron, about when you were first talking about the like robot. When I said dude walking out of the pyramid in blue jeans, and you said robot, blue jeans and shirt. What if it's just somebody who is telling people? We don't have to talk about how it started or whatever. A person is at the beginning of the movie is telling somebody at the bar, a fucking robot is from the future and it's trying to kill me, and I don't know why. And every time I talk to him, it's just weird, and he won't tell me why he's trying to kill me, and he lets me get away, and he like hunts me, and it's really getting boring, and it sucks. I've been awake for 3 days, and then the saloon doors open, and a robot in blue jeans, and nobody's reacting to the fact that it's a robot because it's David Lynch.
Ooh.
He's the one who sees the guy as a robot, and the robot guy saddles up and says a long dumb dialogue scene or whatever, and then starts like killing people randomly and like letting homeboy escape, and then smiles and sips its drink, and it comes out its robot mouth or whatever, and it gets in a car and it drives up the road to like chase this guy some more, and that's like our opening scene. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
that was perfect.
That's great.
Kind of just like sitting back now. I'm like, all right, what else you got?
But you know what I'm saying?
Really
That's like David Lynch. You know what I mean? It's like so. I think
so. Then his goal, our character's goal, is to find out why this robot's trying to kill him, right?
Yeah. I think that's the thing with like David Lynch movies. Like, let's take a step back for a second. I keep using Lost Highway because I think that's the one that I've seen the most and I know the most. Where it's like, yes, it's very bizarre. And yes, a lot of things just happen to me without a lot of reason. But within those little stories, like they're still understandable. I understand what's happening. I don't understand why it's happening, but I understand what is happening. And I think that's where we need to focus. So I really like your idea of like this robot walks in and no one kind of reacts, and that's up to you. Like, is this guy crazy? Is he seeing this robot and all this violence and no one else like does, or is this really happen? I don't know what's happening. I think that's what David Lynch movies are, which is like you could come up with 10 different theories and there's a hole in every single one of them purposefully,
Yeah. Okay, so so our character is wanting to figure out why this robot is trying to kill him, but also kind of wants to try to live a regular life, right? So what's his next step? Like, where does he go next to try to figure this out?
I just thought of the ending, but let's keep going.
I say that he like tries to dress like he's a robot and go somewhere where he knows a robot plant is. I don't know, something like that.
I think at the end or towards the end, this guy and the robot that's chasing him are like they're one and the same. Like it's only one character, and you never quite know how that happened or when it happened, but he's basically they're the same guy. Because I feel like that would be David Lynch. I mean, you never know. You never know if everything that's happened is real or not, or you never but I think it's a very simple cat and mouse chase type of movie, like No Country for Old Men type of cat and mouse chase. But I think this guy and the robot somehow are the same at the end, even though he's been chasing him for the whole time. That feels very David Lynch to me.
Yeah, we'll put that on the shelf with a gold ring
around
it.
I think he has to. I think one other thing that you have to remember, at least from my experience, there seems to be like a lot of sex in these movies. So I would say like his next stop, whether it is either a hooker or his girlfriend or someone that he has sex, and then maybe in the morning she's dead.
Well, you know what I was thinking about. Okay, here goes. He wakes up the next morning, and she's a fucking robot too, man. And nobody's acknowledging it, and she's not acknowledging it. And it's like I think this they live stuff can start happening to him. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's seeing this other. He's seeing dude. It's about the mechanization of our society, bruh. Puts Blunt down. You know what I mean? Like everybody's becoming these automatons except me. I'm the dude who's like the lonely man against this mechanization of society, man. I'm the person. You know what I mean? And it's like, but he's like living this Blade Runner thing.
And look, I'm making this make too much sense for a David Lynch movie, but I still like this idea. Every place he goes to, whatever place, the next place he goes to, whoever he interacts with ends up turning into a robot. Every single time. They either get murdered or they turn into a robot. every single time.
But and also one thing I just want to interject here. What if it's kind of like It Follows? Like the Terminator can like take over whoever you're around or something. I don't know, maybe that's too much. But you know what I'm saying? This whole point of like you can't trust anybody, you can't form any relationships with anybody because you can be pouring your heart out to somebody and they can go, well, that's crazy, man, and turn around and they're got a robot face. It's like I just poured my heart out to my girlfriend and she was a robot and now she's trying to stab me and I got to jump out the window naked. And like we keep picking up with this guy and he's worse off each time. Like I want the robot to come to him in like a high roller casino and he's smoking cigars and doing blow. And by the end of the movie, he's like in a phone booth in the middle of Albuquerque, the last phone booth in the middle of Albuquerque desert.
And he's talking to a rock. And then the rock turns into a robot.
I almost wonder, like, is it more David Lynch and weird? Like, so he has sex with this girl. It's just like, you know, they fall asleep in the bed. And then, like, in the middle of the night, it turns over. And it's that same fucking robot that's been chasing him the whole time. Like, it's always that one robot.
Okay, I can get with that. Yeah, it's not like it doesn't have a wig on or nothing. It's like that robot.
No, it's just that robot. You know?
And it's smoking a cigarette.
And it was like that was good, exemplary. And it's like, oh no,
that's perfect because
the robot.
I also think too, like he just kind of like no sells the fact that this girl he just slept with is the robot. He's just kind of like, oh, shit, I gotta go again, you know, just like very much like this chase. Because I think too, it's like that feeling of madness as an audience member. Like, is he just making this up, or is this robot like have crazy powers that it can, you know?
Oh, and like I'm telling you, like, okay, so on this one, when it's like the other guy, he tried to like attack him and he did some stuff, but he kind of played with him and let him get away. And this one, he turns over and it's like there's like a knife or something that is deadly over there that the person could very easily grab, but they don't. They just like grab a cigarette instead and just. So that was good. And it's just weird amount. There's a weird long dialogue scene, and he just gets up the gumption to be like, okay, whatever reality I'm in, whatever's going on, there's a weird skeleton made of metal next to me, and I gotta go. And he gets on his clothes and he goes down. That tedious shot of him going down. It's from outside, and we look at him through windows going down the stairs. And he gets to the bottom of the stairs onto the sidewalk. And the fucking Terminator jumps through a window and lands on the sidewalk and starts chasing him and trying to stab him. It let him do all that just to do that. You know what I mean?
Just, I like that idea of like him waking up, seeing this robot, and instead of like immediately running, it's like, yeah, there's like another conversation, like, how long are we going to do this for?
Right,
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And the conversations get weirder and weirder about what is the purpose of this? You know what I mean? And it's almost like maybe the overarching thing is the Terminator is trying to herd him towards something. Maybe like instead of like being a nice guy, like the Schwarzenegger one, it's trying to hurt him towards something, and maybe that's bad.
Sense, and I can't allow that for David Lynch.
No, but that's the thing. So. If he's trying to hurt him towards something, it could be not good. It could be very bad. You know what I'm saying? It could be just a devil playing with its food, but it is trying to push him towards something. And that way that there's an apotheosis scene at the end that makes some sort of, I don't want to say sense to mess with your sensibilities about David Lynch, but it will cohere our product.
No, this sounds great. I mean, I'm totally enjoying this, and I can tell that it's not David Lynchian because I'm enjoying this.
Well, I mean, which is part. I think the strangeness of it, because like I think if you gave David Lynch Die Hard, he wouldn't make people like be having mouths in their stomachs like Cronenberg or talk backwards or anything. You would get the product back. It would just be weird. There'd be the scenes would be longer, probably. The less cutting. There'd be weird exchanges with like, I am a German terrorist. You are an American, so you are also a terrorist. And they would talk for 3 more minutes. You know what I mean? And do all this stuff.
He would light us. Instead of saying yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, he'd be like, I lit a fire. That'd be it.
I like the idea a lot of there's almost this weird ritual to it where it's just like every time the robot comes to kill him, it's like you know this is coming, right? Like we have to do this again type of thing, as opposed to just like, oh shit, I gotta go, you know? There is something really like interesting that doesn't quite make sense, but it's still very Lynchian of like, we have to talk about this,
Is it like maybe because of like
Ooh,
maybe it
ooh,
appears
ooh.
what?
Sorry.
Poor Shaq.
When you when he this is what the end that you have is great, but he realizes as soon as he lets the guy kill him and stops running that he's been him the whole time. That's the actual ending. He stops running when he realizes he can't escape, and the robot kills him, and then instead of dying, he just realizes he's the robot the whole time. And turns into the robot. Instead of getting stabbed, it stabs him.
I don't even think I think the way that I would see David Lynch like doing that is like he like shoots the robot, like, I don't know, shoots the guy falls into the ground. You see the body on the ground, and then it cuts back to the hand holding the gun, and it's the guy,
Yeah.
And then you're like, what the hell? This doesn't make it, But I think ultimately, if we're trying to like peel back, what does this all mean? I think it is just like the Terminator 2 themes of just like, what's the difference between man and machine if we kind of have these killer instincts in us anyway, that's what I think is so interesting about those, like, ritualizing this weird thing between the two of them. Like, you can't outrun me, not because I'm faster, not because I'm stronger, but because like you want this conversation, you want this to happen, like it's in you.
Yeah, I think also there. I mean, I'm feeling all of this stuff in order to have it be like, I know this is Lynch, but it still has to be a story. So like Ron was right earlier. Where does he go? Because I think in Terminator movies, he goes to the robot factory. He goes to speak to Miles Dyson. They go to talk to the people who know about it. In this world, what would that be? Because it's not as simple as a robot factory in Lynch stuff.
Yeah, he's trying to escape, right? Though.
Did you guys ever see the movie Duel? It was Spielberg's like first movie.
That's what I've been thinking about this whole time. I mean, honestly, dude, I'm so glad that you're like on that. Like, that's what I've been thinking about this whole time. This meaningless like rivalry or baseless enmity, I should say. When somebody comes up with some baseless enmity for your ass, it's like unfathomable. It's like, why don't you like me? And why do you hate me to this extent? And why am I running from you? Like, this is not life. This is not the way life is normally. It's a nightmare scenario.
Like, I'm almost just wondering if like the story it really is as simple as Duel, where it's just like his objective is just to keep getting away from this robot.
Yeah.
And there is kind of, there's no MacGuffin. There's no, if I get to this magical place, it goes away. Like, we just follow him. And I don't know if that's enough for you, but I
think my thing about the arc is he has to me, it starts out, to me, part of it, not to make it make sense, but even to make it more Lynchian, I think the robot appears every time this guy does a sin or does something bad. You know what I'm saying? Or not a sin, like, fuck you know, like he steals something, he hurts someone, he baselessly jacks somebody's car to run away or whatever, or all these different things you do to get along. I think it's interesting if it's like some sort of like, this thing is like almost like his own demons or something. You know what I'm saying? Not it's not a one-to-one thing, but it pops up every now and again as we see this guy going through his life, doing all this stuff that you would have to do. If a monster was chasing you, you would steal, you would hurt people, you do whatever you had to do to get away from it.
Okay.
So it keeps popping up on your ass. So I'm just saying, over the course of the movie, though, he starts out doing something really shitty that a rich guy would do. And it starts to be down to, I'm carjacking people to get away. I'm beating people up to take their bikes to get away from this thing. And in the end, like you guys have been hinting at, it's out in the desert. He's ridden a BMX into the middle of the desert, and he spent his last dime on a phone from 1950 that takes dimes. And it's just this weird tableau. It's totally open, and it's 360 degree, and nobody's there. And he turns around, and the damn robot's there. Motherfucker popped up from behind a cactus or something, and the robot comes to him, and they have that long Lynchian conversation. but I don't think it's a gunshot. I think the robot grabs him and rips his skin off, and there's robotic endoskeleton underneath, and they embrace each other as robots as the world burns.
And then they fuck. And they fuck.
I think as they intertwine and have sex as sexless robot drones who have been mechanized into this enmity, this baseless enmity, much like the classes, right? All these different people who have been weaponized and mechanized against each other. They just get together and have sex as these baseless, sexless
in the
robots.
background. Maybe that's when the nukes start dropping.
Yeah, the fire, comes, and it doesn't burn them though. They don't get blown away or burnt or anything. It just bathes them in a beautiful light, and it's a big like halo around them. And that's the
a lot. What if he like shreds the skin? He's like, you're free now.
The robot comes and rips like a hole in his face a little bit, and then like shows a shiny part of their own body so he can see himself in the mirror of that robot and see that he has the metal, and he starts to, and it's like encouraging him to rip it off of himself, and he's like freeing himself from the burden of humanity to become a truly mechanized automaton and merge with this thing that's taking him over. Ugh, jeez Louise. That's certainly Lynchian.
Yeah, no, I think it counts. I mean, it makes more sense. It makes way more sense than a Lynch movie, but I love it, so I'm going with it.
No, I still feel like at the end of this, I'd be like, what happened? What was I supposed to get from this? Which I think is appropriately.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. You're right. I think you're right.
Dude, I know it'd be funny if we like literally got the money to make this. And people, once they watch this, they would totally understand it and start preaching the stupid gospel that Raven does. Like, it's about the mechanization of man. Didn't you hear him? Come on, man.
And then we put this episode that we're making right now on the bonus DVD to make fun of these people.
Dude, no, I think we put it before the movie so that they get it. It's just like a short that plays like a Warner Brothers short. Let's all go to the lobby. They play this, and then it's the movie.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So okay, I actually don't think that this is terrible. Like in a way, like as much as it's up its own ass, I think it's like actually pretty interesting. So I guess the rest of the movie, I know we only kind of thought of like 2 set pieces, but I think the rest of the movie is just these larger action set pieces that is just a duel-esque chase essentially. Mm-hmm. Like I think the more you try to inject like plot into it, like the weaker it gets.
Okay. Yeah. As our dismount, let's name some set pieces though. Like we got desert cliff chase. You know what I'm saying? Like some sort of thing that not directly.
So we have just so we're clear, we have the walking into the bar is the first one. Mm-hmm. Then we have the
sexy
after
times.
Sex, the sexy time escape, and then after that, we need something really out there. Like
I love the
zoo, a jail.
I love the idea of a casino. And there's even some thought in that. The reason I like a casino is because there's going to be security guards there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking
get like murdered up. Yeah.
What if he's no? What if he's like at the casino and he's playing blackjack or something at the table again, like kind of just like blowing off everything, and security like pulls him back. They're like, you're counting cards. He's like, I don't even know how to do that. They're like, wait here. And it's like one of those movies where like, casino where he'd hit the hand with the hammer, but it's like they drag him into the back and it's the robot.
Dude. Yes.
Dude,
you know what I almost think? I almost think that however it comes in the narrative, whether that's a flashback or anything, that could be a flashback in the middle of the movie for all I care. But I'm just saying that could be like the origin story. And then that scene with the bar, it'd be like him recounting, like, this thing's been chasing me since a long night ago in Vegas where I was counting some cards, me and my buddy or whatever, Oh man, that's great, dude. And like I said, it's just it's a thing of like, it's at the beginning, it's almost like those old those old creepy magazines, those old Warren Publishing type of magazines where at the end of a 16 or 8-page story, somebody would learn this moral lesson or whatever. That's what I was trying to inject in it earlier. Not necessarily the sin thing, but like every horror movie, the person commits some original sin that they can say is why this thing is happening to them. I went to Camp Crystal Lake. I'm stupid. I banged on Halloween night when my friends were supposed to, what do you know what I'm saying? All these different things to the sin. So like, yeah, to start it out with in the den of sin, him doing some stuff, robot guy beats him up in the back, tries to kill him or whatever. Nobody's registering that this is a robot they're talking to. It's just a nightmare from beginning to end. I'm kind of liking it.
I want one where he's in jail, like he gets arrested on purpose.
No, jail thing's good. Cop one
gets arrested on purpose.
So I think after he leaves Sexy Time apartment, he gets in a car, he's driving, speed. Actually, maybe that's where you put your flashback. Is he's thinking about it. So you kind of, in a perfect Lynch faction, you're like, wait, is this a flashback? What am I cutting ahead? What's happening? You know? Yeah. But I think he's recounting that in his head. He speeds, he gets pulled over, taken to jail, on like suspicion of a warrant or whatever. And that's when we can have another set piece, or we can have, the robot show up again in his jail cell or something.
Dude, the robot is like he's in the top bunk just crying his eyes out and stuff, and then a robot comes up, it's like, what's up, Sally? And he pulls him down, and then the robot misses a punch and knocks the door off, and so that's how he gets out and all this weird stuff.
Opposite. You throw our guy in the jail cell, and his Selly is on top in the bunk, face down, crying, and he's just
nice.
I really want to be here, and it's the robot.
Nice, yeah. And to just to mess with him and be in the scene, and then like I said, somehow the robot's machinations make them both get out of the cell to run some more. I think that's the weird part of the story, is like the robot, like I said, throws a punch at him or something and knocks the whole door off, and then he just runs, and then the robot's just sort of like trying to stab him, but also helping him to beat up the guards and get out, because it's no fun in here. We got to do more chase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep playing with their food.
Especially too when like you think about the ending, where it's just like, it makes sense, enough sense even for a Lynch movie, why he's not just outright killing him, because he's trying to set this thing free, set his lover free. And on that note, we are out of time. So this is gonna be a task. All right, let me see if I can somehow summarize this. We start the movie, and we are in a bar. This guy kind of walks in a little frantically. He's recalling that this robot in a pair of blue jeans and a flannel has been trying to kill him. The guy that he's talking to at the bar just kind of no-sells it, like, I don't care. The robot comes in, he speaks and murders and kills a lot of people in the bar. Again, no one's really reacting. This leads to a chase, but our main protagonist, who, let's just say we purposely left him unnamed. It's guy, it's man. He gets in his car, gets away. He goes to his girlfriend's house. He makes love to her. But when he wakes up in the middle of the night, it's the robot again, somehow. But then they have a long conversation about how this has to happen, and how, like, it's not an immediate fight. But it does lead to the man trying to escape again, going down the stairs, whereas the Terminator just jumps out of the window, but still he's able to get in the car, drive away. As he's driving, we do a flashback to how all this started, where he was counting cards in a casino. He was caught, taken in the back, thought he was going to get roughed up by security, but it ended up being this robot that would never let him go. While he's reminiscing about this, he gets pulled over by a cop who he is wanted for the murders in the bar. So he is taken into jail. He's thrown into a cell. He notices that his cellmate is face down in the bunk crying. He looks up, and it's actually the robot the robot and him again have another talk. Like, you're never gonna get away from this. We have to talk about this. This has to happen. And he breaks out of the cell, killing all the other policemen while trying to get to his main target. Probably a couple more set pieces, maybe one or two more, but it eventually leads us to the middle of the desert. Let's say it's back in Vegas again. There's a lot of holes in Vegas, where there's nowhere left to run. It is desert in a 360. Everywhere you go, it's all desert. The robot goes to the man like, it's it. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. He claws at his face and then shows the man that underneath the face is a metal exoskeleton just like him. He says, maybe he says something to the effect of like, I can't do it, but you can. And the man starts ripping off his flesh and embraces the robot. They embrace each other as the nuclear bombs of Judgment Day start to hit, and they are aglow in glorious fire. Roll credits.
Yeah. They're doing this.
Yeah, and they're doing it in auto tune because they're robots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is if David Lynch were to do a Terminator movie. I know it's dumb, but it's not half bad.
It's really not.
I mean, dual by David Lynch with Terminator overtones, and just like I said, man, it's saying a lot about society.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and blame Ed for this being good. I don't like how good it was, but it was good and it was totally entertaining. So that was fun. Nice job, guys.
At this point, it is already better than the last 3 Terminator movies. So
it really.
Oh, dude, I want to pitch
try it.
Dude, I want to pitch a director. I think his name is Eric Red. He directed The Hitcher. And if you know that The Hitcher is just dual with Rutger Hauer in it, it's just about, you know, that flavor of movie where it's like, this costs nothing, and we're gonna blow most of our money on the nuke at the end and the exoskeleton stuff.
Sure, I mean it's gonna be David Lynch, but still, yeah.
Well, there you have it. There is a great multiverse what if David Lynch did a Terminator movie. This was a lot of fun. You know what else is fun? Clicking buttons. I love clicking buttons. You can click the button to subscribe here if you want to have some more fun. And as always, thank you to Ron Swallow, to Ed Greer, to Billy Business. I'm thanking myself, and thank you for watching. We will be back next week with another episode of Movie Mashup. I'm not gonna try that. I don't know why I did that. I'm not going to do that again.
No, do it again. Do it again.
Nope.
I think you have to do it bigger. You have to do Movie
That's like,
Mashup.
That's like if Tony the Tiger, like, Movie Mashup. It's great.